I'm Mikaila Delgado. May the rock be with you.
Hey, Mikaila.
Hey, how you going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Now, of course, we are here because your new EP, Is This What I Look Like, is out very soon. So let's just start this way. Give us 2 words you feel sum up this EP perfectly.
Dark, energetic.
Cool. Sorry to put you on your toes straight off the bat.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, that sums it up perfectly because the EP, I love it. It's great. There are some different sounds and ideas compared to those on Self-Care, yet you've kept your vibe 100%. Was that a conscious decision when you to do that this time around?
In terms of like the darkness, I think, yeah, that was a conscious decision. It was always supposed to be like a companion piece to Self-Care. It was supposed to be like, we were going to call it self-sabotage. It was supposed to be like the other side of self-care and like the darker side to like, the thoughts that you have and like the way you take care of yourself and how sometimes, we don't take care of ourselves really. But I think in terms of kind of like keeping it still true to us, I think that like lyrically, we're always like, I think that, it still comes from a very honest place in me. And that's why I think that maybe there's that familiarity, because every single release we've ever done has always kind of been like it's almost like a continuation of like what I'm going through kind of thing. And I've always been very, very like, and I think this is the most transparent I've ever been in terms of lyrics.
Yeah, nice. Now, I've chatted to a few artists over the last sort of year and who have written and made records throughout the pandemic. Now, some found it therapeutic, some struggled to write, some thrive. What was your experience with your music in this crazy time?
So I think we were on the side that like we thrived during this, but I only think it was because of the situation we were in. Like we didn't really put pressure on ourselves to write, whereas in the past we've always had these deadlines and we've had to write an album like singles, whereas this project for us was like almost, it was very fun. Like we spent so much time apart that when we were together again, we were writing, and when we stripped it back to kind of how it was when we started the band and we couldn't go into studios and we couldn't do these things, it was like us getting together like 2 people in someone's house and like sitting with an acoustic guitar. Like it kind of felt like going back to the beginning of the band, and it was actually really enjoyable. It was something that we looked forward to instead of something that we had to do, because I guess we were desperate to kind of be creative. And I think also like a lot of the stress and like the, like how dark it felt to everyone, that I think it gave us a lot of inspiration to have things to say.
Yeah, nice. Did you have an idea or a concept somewhat decided for the EP, or did that sort of grow as, you're locked away and you're doing this? Did that come from that?
So it was never supposed to be like, the more I talk about it, the more I'm like, like it's all like, there's all these songs that were written during like a time of isolation and like lockdown and stuff like that. But it was never an intention to be like a COVID, a pandemic EP. Like the themes of it aren't supposed to be about the pandemic, but the themes of it are like the thoughts that you have and like the struggles that you have when you're isolated, like from your life and then I think it's that whole thing of getting to being almost like being like reintroduced to yourself, like when you strip back everything. So yeah, like I think that a lot of people are talking about it as being like a pandemic record, but to us it's kind of a little bit, it's not about that as such, but more kind of about like the things that we were going through whilst that was happening.
Yeah, cool. Now, we've had the pleasure of talking to Josh from You Me at Six a number of times. He's the absolute best. How did it come about that he appeared on Hallucinate?
We asked. It was as simple as that. We asked and he said yes. Like it was one of those things that like, I guess if you don't ask, you don't get kind of thing. So we didn't think it was going to happen. Like it was, we definitely didn't think that he was going to say yes. But when he said yes, we were kind of like, oh, this is happening now. And like, I'm a massive You Me at Six fan. Like I ran a You Me at Six Tumblr. I like went to every single one. Every time they played here, I was there. Like, they're like, like them and like Tonight Alive were like my number one favorite bands. So it wasn't something that we thought was going to happen, but we asked, he said yes, and then I was actually working with him like in person, like on the song. Like it was unreal.
Cool. I'm seeing a tour happening with you two.
I hope so. We just played two shows with him in the UK a couple of weeks ago, and he literally texted me on the day and was like, can you get to Leeds in 2 hours? And I was like, I would do whatever I have to do to be in Leeds in 2 hours. So we ended up getting a taxi, like with all of our stuff. It was the most expensive taxi I've ever, it was like $350. I was like, we ever telling this taxi driver, can you literally drive us to Leeds? I know him being like, it's going to be expensive. And we were like, don't care, get us there kind of thing. So yeah, so we actually did get to play two shows with them, but I would love to do a tour with them one day.
Wow. Now, speaking of live music, it's finally back. Touring wise, can you give us an idea of where people can come and see you this year? Is anything happening?
We're going on tour in the States with I Prevail, Pierce the Veil, Fit for a King. So it's a very, very big tour. And then we've actually got a headline here in Australia in November, December. So
lovely.
We're supposed to be doing this full tilt next week, but like I was really excited for that because it was supposed to be like literally the day after the EP came out, but that got cancelled. So I was really looking forward to that because I feel like November's so far away to play a show here in Australia. So hopefully something pops up in the meantime.
All right. So what's the dream for this band? What's that goal that you want to hit? What's that big thing?
I want to play the Horden one day.
Cool.
That's a big I know it's a really big venue. I would love to be able to play there just because I've seen so many bands that I love there. I would love to I feel like there's a lot of festivals that we see now and you look at the lineups and it's just a lot of dudes. And I would love to be one of the first women that are at the, at the top, just to be able to be anyone can do it really. I feel like there needs to be someone that's not male identifying that kind of gets to that point and kind of opens it up for more.
Why not? I mean, go for it. I mean, it should happen. That's something we need to do. So
it just doesn't happen. It's just it's 2022, and if you look at those festivals, artists in heavy music at the very top, it's just it's just not there yet.
Not yet. But I mean, the big thing that happened for you last year, ARIA nomination, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was very out of the blue. I wouldn't say that we're heavy metal, but the nomination was nice. But no, yeah, it was very, very cool because that album came out during the pandemic, and I think it was hard to be able to tell if it had done well because we couldn't tour it, we couldn't do anything with it. So I think getting that nomination kind of made me feel the album, was good, enough to get an ARIA nomination. It's very, very cool.
Well, you had my nomination, so that's I was happy when that popped up in the last 5.
Thank you.
No worries. Now, as we talked about, the last 2 years have been just insane. What, if anything, has the whole situation taught you that you'll now maintain throughout your life and career?
I think that anything can get taken away. So to enjoy absolutely everything. And that's something that I'm really, really trying to work on. That's one thing that I'm not good at. I'm not very good at enjoying things in the moment. I'm always thinking about what's going to happen next. I'm always thinking about moving forward. And, you're doing all these things and you're stressing about something else. And then you don't really fully enjoy what you're actually doing at that time. So I think there's that. And I think also I think I realized during the pandemic that portrayal is such the way you portray yourself and the way that I think there's so much pressure on people to act a certain way to make people think that they are a certain way. And I feel like people need honesty. And I definitely needed honesty because I felt like I was comparing my life to absolutely everybody else. And the fact that I felt like, everything was taken away and stuff like that. And it happened to absolutely everyone. But I feel like there's this thing about being honest that makes people feel almost a little bit more at peace with knowing that we all go through shit. So I think that I'm done pretending that my life is perfect or my life is sick and that I'm enjoying everything that I'm doing. And I just want to be a little bit more honest.
Good. I love it. And that reflects on the music too. It comes through. People know that there's no bullshit there and they can understand that when it's real.
Yeah. That's kind of what we really wanted to do. It was this whole thing of self-care was everything is going to be okay. And as much as I know that everything is going to be okay, I think that, you know, I think there is as much strength in saying that everything is going to be okay, and also admitting that sometimes things aren't okay, and that there's nothing embarrassing about that, and there's no failure in that. It's just, you know, and that not allowing yourself to feel these things is really unhealthy. You know, like bottling things up and like keeping, I feel like that's a huge coping mechanism, and I know that like lots of people do that. I definitely tried to do it during the pandemic, and it was not good for me. And I think that being able to almost like rewrite my diary out into these songs was like the most like cathartic thing for me. It's always been like that, because as you know, as much as I write and like, you know, like I literally write words, I cannot speak them. Like I just suck. Like I can't express myself. Like I don't express myself in the right way. I feel the only way that I can do that is through music.
Cool. So can we expect like, you know, 14 albums in the next couple of months, or what, are we just going to keep powering through with that sort of stuff?
I feel like we're you know, we're working on music now, and I feel like we've been so busy, and like I'm trying to do that thing where I'm trying to be in the moment kind of thing. So I probably need to get a little bit more stuck into writing, otherwise it won't be, you know, 14 albums. But I'm trying to I'm trying to enjoy things now. I'm trying to enjoy this release. Like these are songs that are very, very important to me, and like, you know, I feel very, very close to. Like they're, you know, they're very, I think they're the most like open I've ever been. So as some songs I'm like about them coming out, like I'm like that, like everyone's gonna know that like that happened to me, and like, you know, like so but yeah, I think I'm gonna keep writing. We'll just see what happens.
Right. Cool. Lastly, let's look ahead to the future. I want you to finish this sentence for me. By the end of 2022, yours truly will
have done their biggest Australian tour
in November and December.
Oh yeah.
Looking forward to that. Mikaila, absolute pleasure to talk to you. Thank you for your time. I can't wait to see you guys play.
Thank you very much. I'll see you then.
No worries. Thanks, Mikaila. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.